selfie picture by Muslim mosque with gold on top. You know, and I'm like, they just want to take selfie picture by Muslim mosque. And I was like, well, maybe out of 2.4 billion Christians, you might be right. Maybe the majority do just want to take selfie picture by Muslim mosque with gold on top. But there are some who are the real pioneers. But they don't read Old Testament, Chaim. They only are allowed to read New Testament. It's like, okay, correction. They happen to have the full Bible in their very hand.
Amen.
And some of those do, but they only care about New. I'm like, well, in the New Testament, the whole New Testament is 60% of it is the Old Testament.
Right.
It's all one story of redemption.
Right.
It's all one plan.
Right.
We happen to be at the culmination of history. We happen to be poised at the restoration of all, the dawn of the restoration of all things spoken of by all the holy prophets. Anyone know Acts chapter 3, verse 21? Are we all here? I think we're.
Yeah, except for the two guys in there.
Two guys. Okay. See, I have patience.
Joshua and Benny.
Yeah. Betty can chill out and have his coffee. So, Acts chapter 3, verse 21. Who here has ever read Acts chapter 3, verse 21? It says, he must remain in heaven. This is New Testament. He must remain in heaven. Heavens must receive him until the restoration of all things, as spoken of, very important part, as spoken of by all the holy prophets. Well, what did all the holy prophets speak about? Aliyah. And I have that proof, which I'm going to give you. They all spoke about about this return and how the nations have a role in it. I would even venture this very well may be sheep nation status stuff. There's sheep nations, there's goat nations, and Revelations are divided up. I really believe that as this team building exercise, he's not coming back for two brides. He's coming back for one bride, and they have to come together. There's a great separation still. You
Amen.
probably have heard people say, if I would introduce you to different people, they're on different trips and things, they would say, well, I'm a little bit worried about the whole many Christians here, a little bit worried. You know, there was the issue with Grandpa. And I'm like, well, what's that? Or great grandpa. What was that? Well, you know, in England, and they rounded them up and put them in the synagogue, lit it on fire, sang hymns. I was like, oh, that's probably not really talked about, or that's not something we know. Well, you know, the little issue with the torture instruments that they, Inquisition had invented in the church, by the church. Torture instruments. This sounds like some kind of Stephen King. What are you talking about? They're like, no, but that's real. It is real. And so, but we're here to show with our actions the difference. You're like, oh, you heard of some fake believers. Yeah, happens every day. Congratulations.
Yeah.
Now you have a chance to meet real believers.
Amen.
And
Amen.
that is shown through, not by us standing and saying, here's the five,
Right.
What is it? Tenets of Calvinism, or whatever. I'm not a Calvinist. You know what I'm saying? Or here's the spiritual laws in Romans. No, it's called here's love.
Yes.
So you mean you have to go through a course and through everything? We're like, well, we have a cool thing called unconditional love.
I'm sorry.
Amen.
What's that? This is what they say. What's that? Never heard of that. Did you know that that's the automatic response? I've never heard of that. What's that mean? Unconditional love.
Yeah.
Well, that's what we show here. I think we're all here now. Are we all?
Yes.
Yes.
Two boys, right?
Two boys. How about this? I know. Can John, could you just help the guys find us so they don't get lost?
They're in the kitchen.
Oh. Come on, guys. Okay, we're good to go. That's just Joshua and then. Okay, come on, guys. What we're gonna do is we're gonna show you guys what I believe is nothing short of a miracle. And I'll tell you why. Why is this a miracle? You guys all together?
We're coming.
I'm not.
It is. I'm sorry, I'm so whisper. We decided to come and approach these pioneers. Remember I said they had their license? That's all it's doing. Been to those pioneers, and we said, hey, would you be willing to give us your whole boarding school? They said, oh, you mean the one where a missile came from over where what was Syria, and it shot on the lady who was in charge of this, all the kids that were here, and she died. And they said, well, this place really went into complete disrepair. You can see how the buildings look. We haven't touched this yet. This is going to be for more interns later.
I'll ask you a question, though. Is that the microphone?
These are how
Right there.
pioneers look. You can see as you pass this picture. here?
Right there, typically.
Pictures around just so you can get a
About next to the
That's where you talk into.
this one.
Yeah.
area.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Now you see down there the Jordan River. Does anyone know what side of the Jordan River we're on? You see it curving
West.
there? It looks like weeds down
You're
there.
better
In
off
there
if you
is
just
the
get
Jordan
close to
River
it and stay close.
I know.
down there.
But I was away from it
That's
for a
where we
while
have
there.
worship on the stage. People never heard of worship before in their life. They've never been to a church. They've never read the New Testament. They make Aliyah. They don't know anything about Christians. It's funny to imagine that, but they don't know a thing about it because they're kind of choose to have a. Jewish people are very smart. I'll have you know, but they purposely almost are like in the dark about what we believe. So now this is a place that really brings it all to light, which is amazing. Okay, so do you guys know what side of the Jordan River we're on?
West.
That's right. There's the east bank. There's the west bank. We're on the east side now. See, the Jordan River's down there. We're on the eastern side. This is the very river that parted to make way for Aliyah. And this is the side they're on. So we're like the only place in Israel that actually is on this side of the river. It's the greater promise of the greater promised land. It's a lot of cool things with that, crossing our Jordan. They crossed over and came and made this. We're like the only place in Israel that's on this side. It's amazing if you think of all with how John the Baptist would have come out of the desert on this side, how the Elijah and Elisha fiery chariots would have been over here, the pleasure, the promise, the double portion of manna. They had twice as much manna when they were here, then it ended on the other side. We have a great double portion of blessing, and I think that I'm going to prove that right now. See this building? This is where we started out. Right now, all these young people, well, you can see the pictures of them. They're out on the wall there. They're out learning right now. They're learning agriculture. Because instead of here's a can of beans, no. We say, can you grow those beans? You give me a can of beans. Can you go grow that and learn how to do a business? That's what these guys are learning. This is the first building we did, and it was just a bunch of people like yourselves came here and with donations and volunteer hours were able to get the electricity, the sewage, the water, leaking the roof, kosher kitchen. A rabbi came in and it has the dairy and the meat separated. You might say, do I believe that they have to do it? No, but I want them to be able to reach them where they're at. And to be able so they can eat. So they can actually, so this is called the agricultural school. This was building number 1 that we came and did. And this got on the front page of the Jerusalem Post. People said, wow, it said Christians in the Galilee? We don't understand this. I thought they don't, I'd never heard of such a thing. Don't the Christians just want to go to Disneyland? Isn't it 138 million in Disneyland worldwide to see Mickey Mouse? But only at the most was 4 million, 4.2 million came to Israel, and they didn't come and help really. This is very different. You guys are very different than than the average. People like you are very different. So, we can just talk over here real quick. You see this building behind me? There was a group called the Jewish Agency. Has anyone ever heard of the Jewish Agency? No. They, so we'll just stop right here somewhere. The Jewish Agency said, hey, they said, we saw what you guys are doing with that whole building with the agricultural school, with the aeroponics, hydroponics, aquaponics, where they're able to learn drip irrigation, Amiad systems, netaphim. They're able to learn reverse osmosis. Why Israel is a regional superpower of water. Israel's a regional superpower of water. And that's because they're learning that over there. They're learning a trade. They said, would you guys consider wanting to perhaps, that abandoned, derelict, condemned building that's now nice behind me, that's over there falling over? What if you would be able to fix that all up? I know it's going to cost $350,000, which we've paid it all off, praise the Lord, to get a new roof on and air conditionings and the kosher kitchen there too, and have a pre-army training with Arabic and Hebrew speakers together. I was like, well, it sounds like an explosive idea, no pun intended. But so then they said, would you consider doing this? And so there you can see the young people there. We have now had 3 years, 6 months, next year, another 6-month program, another 3 years of Arabic and Hebrew speakers together. Each bunk bed has 2 Arabic speakers, 2 Hebrew speakers, and they form friendships. Otherwise, they don't join the army. Otherwise, they just go off to university in Saudi Arabia or whatever, and then they come back and they're kind of anti the system, the establishment. We're more anti-disestablishmentarianism because, I got to use that in a sentence, because we're pro them joining the army and
Yes.
pro the establishment of the
Yes.
government of Israel. So we're against that non-establishmentarianism.
Gotcha. Yes.
So my point is, we set out on a step of faith to go and who knows about the Aliyah Return Center, to renovate a $350,000. I'm talking structural, fixing the structure and having it all done. It just looked like that before. See how these buildings look? Wow. They were, it's like a shell. We were able to get it working. And who lands? The Minister of Defense of Israel in his helicopter. He lands and he comes in and he says, I not understand. You are train my boys and girls in green for army, even Arabic, even Hebrew speakers. I not understand why. Well, because of the love of Yeshua. Yeah, we driven by passion for Yeshua.
Yeah.
I not to hear of this, So that is what this is, and it was super amazing. Channel 1, Channel 2, Channel 10, Haaretz newspaper, and of course, the Jewish agency said, look, we can start walking this way. We want to join with you guys. And we said, you're the Jewish agency. Wait a second. You help 4 million people to make their Aliyah to Israel. You started this little company called LL Airlines. You had our first prime minister work for you, Ben Gurion, worked for you for 17 years. You want to partner with us? And for real? And they said, yes, we do. And they said, the only thing we're worried about is if you do like the Muslim thing on the immigrants. I'm like, okay, wrong religion, first off. But and they said, well, you know what we mean when the Muslim Brotherhood, they help someone with the Muslim donation, then what they do is they say, now I own you. Like you have to do a jihad for me. You have to vote Muslim Brotherhood. There's a debt that you owe me. We say, no, again, we don't do that. We have this thing called unconditional love. Oh yeah, what's that about? It just means they get to stay and be blessed. And of course they ask. They always say, well, why? Why in the world are we here? Glad you asked. We get to answer and bless them like a chip on this. So, as you see, there's a difference between a step of faith and a leap of faith. What you see here is a leap of faith. This isn't $350,000. This is $500,000 worth of renovation. Asbestos roof needs to be removed. You see how they all need the new electricity, new sewage, new water, new lights, beds, sheets, pillows. This will be done, in Yeshua's name, by November, very soon. And it will house 78 immigrants right off the plane that literally come from Hungary. This is a time crunch, and we're really believing that God is going to come through as he has in the past. But there is a difference between a step of faith and a leap of faith. Every single worker, every single volunteer, all donations based, all volunteer based. So I know it looks crazy, but this is what God is doing. This is nothing short of a miracle that this kind of stuff is happening. So over here you can see, has anyone heard of a lone soldier? Lone soldier is someone who makes their Aliyah, their immigration to Israel, their families back in their former country, and they join the army. So that complex of buildings over there, we are housing lone soldiers. Commander says, are you ready for a rest from the front lines? Okay, take a leave. Come back in a couple days, go home. Rest from the stress of the front lines, defending the defenseless in the defense force. Oh, but Commander, I don't have any home. My home is on Australia. My parents are in Canada. I don't have any. Okay, stay on the army base. I don't know what to tell you. Or you can go to the Aliyah Return Center. You can be blessed and have a place to stay, all fixed up for you nice, ride a bike around, have a dinner, and get a little rest and respite. And even the Jewish agencies there working together. And so that is what happens right there.
Wow.
What's that noise? Uh-oh. You hear that noise? Oh my, what happened? I know that the United Nations didn't get the memo, even Trudeau didn't get the memo, but over there, that used to be Syria, it is now the Golan Heights of Israel. I mean, Trump can tell you that. And so there was missiles being shot on these pioneers, so they had to have these bomb shelters made. We have about 5 of these throughout this property. Over there, as you can see beyond those flags, is the Hashemite Kingdom of Jordan, ruled by King Abdullah and his wife Rania. So that is still Jordan. Of course, it's also promised to be promised land one day. Never mind. And so they used to be shooting missiles on the pioneers, and they had to run down to this video room, bomb shelter, and they had to go down in here. This is the pioneer spirit. Come on down here. You're going to see a little video.
Wow.
All right, let's have a quick little seat here.
I wonder how many tours do this. I wonder how many of the tours do this.
A little cooler down here, huh? A little cooler. Have a seat, come on down, have a seat, have a seat. As you come in, I'd like to give you some Aliyah scriptures. Boom. This is a nice collection of 64 Aliyah scriptures. Or maybe if you pass some of these pickles around too. Pass some of those around, that'd be great. 64 Aliyah scriptures, welcome. Have a seat. I think we have enough chairs, hope so. Wow, that's awesome. These scriptures changed my life. Yeah, you have one already. These are the 64 Aliyah scriptures, prophetic significance of Aliyah. It's our calling card, you might say. How does this, what this says is, it talks about how everyone says, we want revival in our city. We want revival in our country.
Yes.
And God is saying, hey, I want to do that. But it has to do with Aliyah. It's really clear. It says, and then the nations will know me. They return, and then the nations will know me. Now, is Israel a perfect place? No. They have called hearts of stone. You know, Ezekiel 36. You look around you, that's called hearts of stone. Oh, you got one. Good. They have hearts of stone, but it's promised. It says, I will gather them, then I will take out the hearts of stone, and I will put a heart of flesh, and they will know me from the least of them to the greatest. When is that going to happen? I don't know. But I want to talk for a second about your destiny, your role as it relates to Israel, your destiny. What it is I'll tell you, my father-in-law, he's felt the Holy Spirit for the first time, this is 3 decades ago, driving down the road, my father-in-law, and he says, Lord, why am I even saved? What is your call for my life? What is it all about? Do you know there's a place in the Bible where it says, this is the reason salvation came? So he's driving and he says, show me a sign, similar to the sign that we got. It's a little license plate in front of him, and it said ROS.